So, today we are faced with the problem that we have to make this review kind of quick because I don't really have time to do more. I am very busy, sorry about that, but let's just go and start, okay? Hello everybody, how are you? I'm Rich and I am following, and welcome to this new episode of Analyzing Fiction, where we'll be talking about The Magician, Book 2 in the Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel. This book, unfortunately, I do not possess in physical form, so we will not be able to do the POW. I'm so sorry, let's... a minute of silence for the lack of a POW. Anyway, because we can't do a POW, let's just go ahead and talk about my books. So, Winged Horse Warrior and High Elves of All, those two amazing books are available in Amazon, both in digital and physical formats. The links will be down below if you want to get them. If you do, please. I really hope that you enjoy it. Thank you so much. That you enjoy them, not it. Thank you so much. And of course, there's also this other baby coming up, Candles, book 2.5 in the series. It's not obligatory. You do not need to read it to understand the story. However, it will grant you more information regarding future books. And it's also an enjoyable read. It's fairly short, but it's coming out December the 1st. So be ready for it. And now that we don't have a POW, let's just go ahead and talk about the plot for this book. So, Book 2 in The Magician begins straight where Book 1 ends. So, Josh, Sophie, and Nicholas Flamel, they have appeared in Paris, and now they have to search for someone who can teach Sophie the magic of fire, and then another one who can teach Josh how to awaken his power, so someone who can awaken Josh in order so that he can be trained as well in magic. However, they are still being hunted by John Dee, and not only Dee, but also another of these immortals who works for the Dark Elders, who is none other than Niccolo Machiavelli. And Machiavelli and Dee will join forces, even though they're not really the best of friends, and they will begin to hunt for Flamel and the twins in order to get back the pages of the Codex, and of course also take the Twins of Legend with them. And meanwhile, on the other side of the ocean, on Alcatraz, we have Perenelle Flamel, who is doing her best to escape and be able to help her husband, and that's basically it. So you have on Paris, you have Scatty, you have Nicholas, you have Josh and Sophie, and they're searching for someone who will train them, who will eventually be the Comte of Saint Germain. I will always say it wrong, so sorry about that. I'll just call him the Comte from now on. Sorry if it's spelled badly. I don't know French, but they will go with the Comte and his wife, who is Joan of Arc, and there they will train on the fire magic. Sophie will train in the fire magic, and then Josh will have to search for someone to awaken his powers. However, as he does this, many feelings begin to appear in his heart that challenge the relationship that he's had with many of the characters so far. So Josh begins this negative, in a way, character arc that he will develop throughout the series, and that will eventually lead up to the climax of the story. So this book, we really start to see this change in his way of thinking, how his relationship with Sophie begins to change, and we kind of start to see where this is going, where it will land. However, that is more into review stuff, so I think that we should just go on with it. So I'll see you in the review. Now, to make this quick, I almost fell right there, but to make this quick, let's go right ahead and start with the plot. And this is one of my favorite plots in this series, mainly because it parts with the expectations that we had. So for me, book 1, The Alchemist, was a little predictable. It followed a lot of tropes, and that made it a little easy to follow, to understand what was going on, what was going to happen later, and kind of took away the surprise that I expected to feel from the story. However, this book changes in many ways, and it parts the story into new places. It begins to explore new things, and I really like how he does it, how Michael Scott begins to foreshadow other things that will happen in the future, but in doing so, he also builds up things that we do not expect that will happen. So we have both that. And we have that game, right, of the magician, of the author who is a magician who begins to foreshadow over here for an event that will happen here, when in reality he is trying to surprise you with this, which you cannot see. So that's what Michael Scott begins to play with in this book, and I really like how he does it, how he foreshadows something, and instead what he delivers in the climax is amazing, but also it sets up another big plot point that comes up later in the story that is far bigger, that I really like. And it's also clear that he has planned it out, that he has a clear idea of what is happening, that he has a clear idea of what will come in the story later on, and he begins to set it up. He is starting to build up everything to support that ending that he is seeking. And I really like how it is done. Really enjoyed reading the book in general, trying to make my theories of what was coming up next, and then reading the next books and seeing where I was wrong, where I was right. And this is one of my favorite ones. This one, book 4 and book 5 are probably my 3 favorite ones in the series. We'll eventually grade them all, but for now this one's one of my favorites. Also with character development, this story also focuses on many arcs, especially in Josh and Sophie, and I would say also a little Nicholas. The 3 characters, they begin to evolve a little. Nicholas, not that much, because being an immortal, he is already very defined as a person, but Josh and Sophie, their character arcs here really start to gain a pace, and that is something that will continue happening. Like, their changes as characters will continue to grow. They will continue to change, to grow, to mature, and their ideologies will just be challenged. They will begin to believe in other things, and their relationship as twins will change throughout the story, and this is where that begins to pick up. We had a little hints of that at the end of the last book, but there's not really any big change in that one. It is until this book that we really start to see some movement in the characters, and I really like where it is going, what is showing, what we're being told that will happen later on in the story by this, what we are being shown, what we are being, what's the word? I don't want to say foreshadowed, because I have said it many times so far, but it hints us, it gives us hints as to what may or may not happen later on in the story. Also, the narrative, this book is meant to be read by younger audiences, so of course it cannot really go heavily into the vocabulary, but I really like how it is done. It is a very fluid book. It really pulls you on, it grabs you and leads you onward with the story. It's not really that complicated to understand, and it's a very good hook. Every sentence hooks the reader and makes you want to read more. I really enjoyed how Michael Scott, in general, I really like how he writes. It's not as great as, for example, others like Brando Sando or even Christopher Paolini, but I do enjoy the way in which he writes and the way in which he develops his sentences that drives the reader onward, that shows him around and even excites him to know more about this world. It is very well done, very well achieved, not amazing, but it's a good narrative regarding what audience it is heading for. Now, also with the world, this is by far the strongest aspect of the books, that Michael Scott has such a huge knowledge of mythology, and he uses it all in these books. He manages to create this new world with all mythologies combined, and somehow makes it work. But he also demonstrates how he knows all of those mythologies. It's not like he said, oh, let's search for a random Aztec god. Oh, Quetzalcoatl. Okay, let's just add him. Why not? No. He understands how they work. He understands their relationship to the culture. And that is something that I highly admire of Michael Scott, that he has so much knowledge of how this works. And another way to demonstrate that is how the different characters, how the different gods, how the different elders, they interact with each other. For example, you have how their names are all coming from different cultures. You have Mars Ultor, the Avenger. He is also called Ares by the Greeks. He is also called Huitzilopochtli by the Aztecs. So it is clear that Michael Scott understands these mythologies in such a way that he is able to unite various deities into one, and it works well. Like it works well because he knows his deities, he knows how they work, and that's something that I highly admire. Anyway, for The Magician, Book 2 of The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel, I will give this book a 76 out of 100. It's one of my favorite books in the series, and I highly recommend it to you. It's very cool. And anyway, I guess that will be it for today. I know it was a short review, but today I'm very busy, so sorry about that. But anyway, this will be all. I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on my social media. I post there every 2 days, every couple of days, and the posts are both in English and in Spanish if you want to check them out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye!